Christmas time, there's always a lot of...
Oh, it's not with my cousin Vinny. That's Home Alone.
Everyone's taking the proper precautions, that's all.
Oh, yeah, well, we have...
What are you up to, girl? Did you clean those little baby toes?
And if you break your promise, I will not send it. Because you broke your promise. And you owe me money for breaking your promise.
So we're gonna get back to him. I got disconnected. Sorry, everybody. Now I am back. I'm back and better than ever. So. That's my friend. She can stay here for a few days, but she can't cuss. She keeps catching herself. She's like, oh. You are autistic. Proof. Autistic people always get proof. They're always like, let's look at.
Not to break. I promise to you. We'll stick together. We'll figure it out and we'll work it out.
Thank you.
I need to hear it. Right now. Yeah, I need to hear you say it.
You reached 100 plays. Thank you.
My shoe. Is it? Let me have my shoe.
She does look at everybody's shoes. Can you give her her shoes back?
Thank you. Is it?
Put them in a cabinet, no?
Oh, because I walk when I get home. Yeah.
Get your own shoesies.
Do you promise,
Mama,
that you will always be there and we'll figure it out? If not, then there is no training. Okay, I will sign the prenup, but you cannot leave me.
you have a cute little booty in the bed. Come on, girl.
Oh my goodness.
There you go, butt. Oh my God. Come here. Little tiny butt. I'm gonna give you a little drink and I'll easy run out for one drink. I'm gonna get that back. Don't worry about your own. This is Izzy. Sorry means you come down.
So
They're beautiful.
this is all being recorded. This is all. So this is admissible in court, right?
It's scary up there.
I'll sign the prenup, but that means you have to stay with me. That means if you break your promise and we don't work it out, oh, you have to come out of pocket, prenup or not.
Ow! I'm sorry, my big old butt hit you. You know your toys are in the box, isn't it? Sorry, it's not. Here, Mama.
No, I need you to agree to that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you can play with your toys with your Mama. Yeah, why not? You can play with your toys. Oh, hi, I'm sorry. My bad. So, I hear people laughing in the background. My friend's staying over for a minute. A little bit.
Too late for that.
Shut up. Shut up.
Your phone doesn't record.
So, let's see. Okay, so we were talking about the healthy, getting the child to eat healthier.
When did you update your phone?
Autistic kids, so autistic children, it's very hard for us to control the eating. So I would not blame the other parent. A lot of times, like when there's an autistic child and the couple breaks up,
Okay, so I will.
there's so many challenges and they're both learning about autism, you know. and they don't get it. They don't get that the child's behavior is associated with the autism. Instead, they're trying to blame each parent. They're like, oh, well, he's like that because you're not doing the right job. You're not doing a good enough job. And then what ends up happening is that the child knows that they just don't like these things. Oh, who are you? There you go. You know what's stupid is you wasting your time being in a room that you think is stupid.
That's
Who's a dum-dum? Dum-dum?
that is all I need to hear.
There we go.
That is fine.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I got rid of the other person right now because they're being ridiculous.
There you go.
Thank you so much. Are you autistic? Have we spoken for? So what I was doing right now, because nobody was pretty much my son is, oh yes, okay. You were just on a second ago, right? We're talking about that. Yeah, so a lot of parents, they've been telling me like, oh, I wasn't putting my channel out there for that, but then I started to realize that it did give a lot of parents like hope that, and help them understand and see their children in a different light. So that's why I share more about, what it felt like and what I gained from, what the benefits I feel that I gained, from experiencing more delayed challenges as in my youth. I believe that it really it helped me really pay attention to what's real, and it didn't it didn't make like vanity and like the way that the world is, like it didn't make it I guess like it wasn't like desirable, I guess you could say, the things of the world. Things were always more like life was more serious for me, and I always knew that those things were just, they were not important. I always thought that if I would just survival was the most important thing when I was growing up, because of the way that I grew up. So the way I grew up was really rough, that it made me really see like my social engaging. What is she doing? What are you doing, Mama? Causing trouble, Mama? You just want attention, Izzy. Huh? Hi. You need to do maybe this one, Mama? Oh, hold on 1 second, you guys, my daughter.
Which one?
Boingy, boingy, boingy. Yeah, little bunny. Bunny hop, 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 hop. Hop, little bunny, 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 hop.
Are you lying to me? Are you lying to me?
Yeah, being nonverbal really did help me maybe see things differently, to where I saw the importance of things, and I saw how like when I saw people doing bad things, I thought about it so deeply, because that's all I had was my thoughts, and nobody talked to me, and I really had to understand and figure things out, because everything was so new to me. My family wasn't doing a great job at all. And so I think it really pushed me to dig even deeper, like deeper to the roots to why things were, the way that they were. And I think for the love for my family, or the desire to have a family and support, it was so strong that it made me, humanize and understand and realize and see, put myself in other people's shoes. And they say that autistic people don't do that, but we do. We do it better than everybody else. I honestly believe this. I used to work. Excuse me. First off, I know you don't mean it, but are you able to have a job and work like a normal member of society? First off, I am normal. Everybody is normal. I mean, what's normal really? everything's an opinion. So I fall into the category like everybody else, I believe. And actually, I am probably more efficient if I were to work. That's the only area where I did really well in my past. However, my children are very require a lot of therapy, require me to be there, and because everyone else has in my family and in my life has dipped out on my children, and they don't put child support, they don't do any of these things, not in their life at all. It makes me have to step up and be every role in their life. I have to do everything on my own, and on top of that, go to all their therapy sessions, advocate for them, get the resources in order to even do this without a job. So it's a lot of work. I used to work a lot, but because my hands are tied, I'm not able to. I'm also educated. I do have a degree in psychology. And so to answer your question, my autism does not affect my capability to work. No, I'm actually every job I ever had, I was always the main manager. I was working with children. I was a teacher. I was a aide for special needs children, a mentor for troubled youth. I've had these roles before I had kids. I had to go online to my classes. I did online education because I had my son, who's very little, when I was in school. And I went to Ashford. It was Ashford. And then I had 4 back-to-back seizures, and then my son ran down the street when we were in front of the house in a kiddie pool. Like, we were having a little play date, And that play date, it went bad because I had 4 back-to-back seizures, and the department wanted to take my kid away because they said that though I was a really good mom, that my autism I may not be able to take care of him long term because of my seizures. They were concerned that if I have a seizure because my son's nonverbal, that I don't have any family at all, that nobody would find my son until a social worker or a therapist found him sitting there with my dead corpse because he wouldn't call for help. I thought that was very graphic. I thought it was very insensitive for them to say that to me. However, I stopped going to school because they were concerned and they had brought it up. And when they said that, I kind of maybe okay, maybe this was right. That I'm kind of obsessive, so I maintained a 4.0 GPA consistently throughout the whole time I was in school. And I'm very obsessive when it comes to things that I'm interested in, things that I'm doing. And so I wouldn't accept anything lower than an A. And because my son had a sleeping disorder, I would stay up extra long, once he fell asleep, and I'd study. I'd have to find the time in between his behaviors and helping him with his therapies and helping him, that I think I was going too hard on myself, and the lack of sleep maybe was making me, overwhelmed. So for that reason, I stopped going. And I was supposed to go back, but I never actually went back because my son's behaviors got more intense and he needed me to be there for him. Then I have my daughter. She also has behaviors and needs support. And I don't believe in not being there for your child that has communication challenges. A lot of times parents will feel the need to work, to provide, which is very understandable. But at the same time, the child's development is more important, because not just for the child, but for yourself. Because if you don't give that child, start them with the right foundation and understand them fully, and from that time to really be in sync with this child, it can make the behaviors a lot worse. They turn out really, really bad. And then what ends up happening is not only is this child affected, but then they feel kind of not accepted by the world, and feels like you don't like them. They feel, they will interpret it more intensively, the stresses, and they don't understand. They'll end up interpreting it as like nobody likes them. nobody wants them around. I know because I went through this. And I have other kids that I actually still mentor that are a little bit older, like teens, and they said this. And I also have older friends that are autistic adults. They have also said this. So, one second, I'm checking it out. So I highly recommend that if you have an autistic child, to if it's possible, I don't know if it is possible or not. I understand that life is expensive, but if you can, one of the parents work. If it's there's two parents in the house, one should work. Cut down budget, move into a smaller place if you have to, and one of the parents should go and educate themselves on autism.
Do you have any questions?
Don't just call therapists. Don't just call therapists and have them sitting because half of them don't know what they're doing. It's better for the parent to educate themselves on sensory stimulation, and it's better to have the parent educate themselves on what it feels like, to be autistic, and how they didn't understand the details of sometimes sensories can be crossed. You can or understand all the lighting can bother a child, and it doesn't always. There's always a different little combination of sensories that will sometimes for example, my son is undersensitive to sound. I'm oversensitive to sound where I have seizures uncontrolled. So sometimes it's not always the same. But there'll always be some senses that are overly stimulated. They get overly stimulated, but then there's always a sensory that helps us calm down to where we can balance and we can just focus on that one that calms us. So it's always good to go and do your homework, do your research, and observe your child to understand which one is the one that gets easily stimulated, to where that you have to watch out for, and which is the one that can help them self-regulate their mind and their body. It's very important to do that. It's very important to understand that the children on the spectrum are very literal. We and sometimes when you say things, we can get very confused, and that we have auditory processing delay disorder. Usually, half the time, if we're nonverbal, it's usually more the auditory processing delay disorder is associated with that. And when we hear outside information, it takes us longer to dissect and break it down in our head and understand first what the message is and what the question is, and then secondly to understand how to respond appropriately and what is the expectation that we're supposed to meet. Now, if the parent or whoever's around them is doesn't make that child feel safe, it is a safe place to practice being, their social skills, that child's going to feel very hesitant to participate. So they're very hesitant to respond, and that can cause a child to stop talking, or for example, to start talking, it will stop them from wanting to start talking. You can also, if they start talking, you can also have another part where they will be talking and then they'll stop talking again. That happened to me because people were insensitive to my autism in my home, and it was very it just didn't feel safe to try. I was afraid how they would respond to me not meeting the expectation. Most people would be like, oh, well, that's your family, but no, for an autistic person, it's like the family vibe. I mean, I don't know. That's how it was for me, but I grew up in a messed up home, so I don't know exactly how it is for people that have a very close family. But for me, and I honestly believe that it's the same way, actually, because it's the way our brains process information. It's more like, first comes to us, our capability, and the fact that we cannot do it, it just feel like, it's kind of like concerned and like for instinct and safety that we are very cautious in, being able to follow through with, and to connect with the world. And it actually makes us shut down. And I think we do it regardless whether we're close to our family or not. Because I've talked to a couple other friends that were did have good support, and they experienced the same thing, and they were also nonverbal before. So, just for the record, I'm saying based off my personal experiences, and also from information that I've talked to a lot of my other friends now that are in support groups of mine, and I know a lot of people. Now I made this account to reach out to other autistic people, um, and then so I ended up making some connections with a lot of people over this short period of time, and I talk to them daily, and we share our thoughts, opinions, our memories, how it felt. I asked them very uh, asked them very descriptive. I'm very specific on the questions that I ask. I'm very detailed, and I ask really personal questions because I want to understand if they are like me. I always want to ask questions because I want to know if it's autism. What parts are autism, what parts are trauma, and I don't think that I process trauma the same like I would say like trauma the same way other people do. I feel that the whole time I experienced all these unfortunate situations, knew what happened. I knew that I knew I was learning. I knew that I was supposed to learn from these things, and it was not trauma. It was just more like the next step. It was more like, okay, this is what I need to do. It felt more like a mission. It felt more like my objective. It was more like, okay, this is my job. It never felt. I think it was so normal for me. I think that's why, because I grew up in the dysfunction, and I understood the dysfunction even when I was nonverbal. What is she trying to do? What's she trying to do?
Nothing. Come here.
She's trying to jump in the bed with you?
Yeah. Ready?
I have some staying around. So I'm gonna go get my daughter her little beverage. Hi. But yeah, I definitely can say that when I.
Be careful.
Is she okay?
Yeah.
Izzy, come here, honey.
Come here. Get up here.
Careful. Hey, 1 second.
Sorry.
Strong enamel is your best defense against acid erosion and cavities.
Oh, it's in here.
And for enamel active shield.
Oh, there it is.
One
more milk? Oh, careful, sweetie. Yeah, I told you this is usually the area that she's like usually homeroom. She's probably like, this is her area where she plays. I always put her out here because she's so wild. She play all her games. Let's see. Hold on, wait, not yet. Uh-oh. Come on, Mama. Hi. Hot little bro. Hot little bro. Go say hi to the bro. Huh? When?
Come here, Izzy. Izzy. Izzy.
Careful. You know, cutie pie. As she gets older, her hyperness will like slowly fade away. Hi. Whoa, good for you.
Come on. Come on, little sticky butt. Move a little dirty little feet. It's fine. Let me see one of those wipes.
Yeah, where are they?
Just right there on the table.
Oh, this one? That's just more. I had bought them off and then it got really dirty, and then it was more dirty. Probably dirty and more using it.
Drink your milk, please.
Izzy?
No, we're laying down now. Come on. We're laying down now.
No, come on.
Here's your milkies. Here.
Relaxing.
Quercetina cleans like rocks. It smells like feels like.
She's good. My pants are falling now.
A deliciousness you've never had before and will never have.
So I'm just gonna answer a couple more questions. If anyone has any questions about autism, or resources, or funding, or laws that pertain to autistic families. Feel free to ask. I'm looking for a question. Someone asked a question. Do you feel like special needs families have it harder than other families? I'm gonna say yes and no. I'm gonna see. Why is it bright though? How come it looked bright earlier? Okay, so how do they have it harder? Yes and no. They have it harder because the funding, lack of awareness, the fact that they have to deal with the stress, that society brings to them because their discriminatory behavior towards the family is very hurtful for a parent to have to, especially when they're not autistic, and then they have to experience people mistreating their child. For me, I feel like I lived it so hard because I am autistic that it made me more strong toward when people mistreat my children. I'm more assertive in checking people and speaking up because I feel that I can because I am autistic. And then they're gonna learn today. I imagine that it must be more confusing for they don't know where they stand and they're a typical parent when it comes to their autistic children. So that must be tough for them. But mostly financial. A lot of families shun them. So a lot of times there's parents that have autistic children and they are either doing it alone or they're overly stressed out, and so they're expressing it not intentionally, but the child is observing and watching their parent being overwhelmed by them, and they are acknowledging that it is, it's due to the fact that, the difference, autistic children are very aware. So I would say that it's more, but for the autistic child, I believe that for the most part, they're resilient, and I think that they're going to overcome that stigma of society eventually, and they'll be more well-rounded, and I think that they would have a better chance in being successful. And for some reason, I've noticed that the more things that they have, the more experiences they have in life, even if they're bad, that child will be more more capable in finding their purpose and find out what they're good at and what makes them happy, because they need the experience. And it's very important for them to find the reason for them to participate, because a lot of us don't want to participate. It's important for us to find the reason. There needs to be a reason for them to want. It's like it pushes them to do it, because we need to be pushed to do it, nudged, and then we need to find what do we usually have something that we're very obsessed with, and a lot of times parents try to pull us away from those things, so they think that it looks not normal, that people will pick on us, but in reality, that's how we're going to learn easier, I feel. things that we are interested in, we have hyper focus to where eventually, even if we lack a lot of skills or survival, instincts, we will be able to make probably a lot of money doing certain jobs, that if it is, if it is associated with the one area that we are really obsessed
What
with.
classes are you talking?
So,
Okay.
I would highly suggest getting different types of arts since starting at a young age, and let them try different things and see what they like and see what they're good at. Whatever they're obsessed with, use it for having them learn. And whatever their challenges, help them. Whatever their challenges, help them practice that challenge. But have them practice that challenge while doing something that they feel confident in doing. So combined it to where they'll be more likely to participate. As part of it, they feel confident. It's sometimes it's gonna actually work in their favor, because sometimes we are knowing that we have some issues and which is challenging, but at the same time, the way that we process information, sometimes we can do it kind of like an autopilot if there's a part of it that we are good at, and sometimes we'll participate even if there's areas that we're not good at, if there's at least a little bit area of that whole, of that of it that we do know how to do. It's kind of like a way of tricking our mind to get us to get started.
The 3S is 400.
And hi, what is inside here?
Yes.
You have that little thing again. Again, you see?
Walmart is 400 at Walmart.
Yeah. What is this from?
Oh, it's $2.99.
I'm gonna have to order some Benadryl. My daughter has allergies to foods. We're finding out.
I did too.
Yeah, she had some dye, like cookies that had dye in them. Yeah, like food coloring. She's allergic to that. I'm starting to realize.
And that's 500.
I was when I was younger like that too. I didn't think she was. I thought she's had cookies before. With this particular one, she had a reaction. I'm gonna have to order some Benadryl just in case. I don't know how. Another thing to keep in mind that if your child is having challenges, always take them to a dermatologist as early as possible. Get them regularly, with a set dermatologist and a gastrologist, because most of us have microbiome issues, declining bacteria in the gut, and it affects all of our bodily functions, which will affect the gut brain, and that will exhibit itself in lots of more like where the autism will seem more like some challenges, behavioral challenges, mental challenges. But from what I've seen, when they start taking probiotics and understanding that there's an issue with the microbiome, that they start take fiber and half the digestive system, half their immune system, the metabolism, it'll show immediate improvement in the behavior. And dermatology, because we all have really sensitive skin, and the scary thing with that is that psoriasis and autoimmune disorders, a lot of times it affects the joints. It causes inflammation. Inflammation is very bad, It lacks circulation, blood flow, oxygen to the brain. It's really important to just be on top of it. Just, make sure. A primary care physician is not going to be able to tell you these answers. I've taken my kids all the time to primary care physicians. No one ever told me anything. The acted like it was nothing. Even when my son had like a rash, appearing on his tailbone in his private area, it wasn't going away for the longest time. And then they still kept saying that it was rash and that it was because of his autism, but it was psoriasis. And as soon as I took him to the skin specialist, they knew that like, immediately. And I was like, oh my god, I could have been, my son could have been like avoiding all of this discomfort and all of this, But you have to just ask the primary care physician for the referral. And even if they say no, just insist on getting it anyways. It's always best to be safe than sorry, because with an autistic child, we cannot handle that type of discomfort and pain. It's really
Cyber Monday deals online.
especially if we're non-verbal, like we won't be able to tell you exactly, what's going on. And then a lot of times the child can be crying or misbehaving or not. That will also affect the way that they participate and wanting to try to do things. Because they don't feel well. But you don't know that. You just think that they just don't know how. But really, they feel sick, and it's gonna affect them. It can be all that. It can be all the difference that will make them stop. So it's really important that their body feels healthy. Right now, we're working on my son's diet and his exercise and stuff like that. If their child is also nonverbal, it's important to get them if they have their own bedroom, get them a wall mirror, a big mirror. I'm talking like a big mirror that covers the whole entire wall, side of the wall. The more a child with autism sees himself in the number one, the more that they will start to notice and try. They won't do it in front of you. They're gonna do it when no one's looking, no one's around. I did that when I was younger, and I practiced a lot I worked on a lot of my sensory challenges and my speech using a mirror when nobody was around. And I've talked to other autistic adults, and they have told me that they've done the same thing.
Oh shit! At Verizon, it's only Verizon.
So I'm gonna answer one more question, you guys, and then I'm probably gonna sign off because I'm gonna help my daughter relax and get her, maybe play a little game with her and then have her get to bed. I'm gonna answer one more though. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. So here we go, one more. Since I'm just curious what size of bed do your kids have? It's funny because we move in our sleep. Autistic people, we move like crazy. We roll around and we don't like to be touched, and you can't sleep next to us. Or for you, the space better be a really big bed. So yes, a large bed is important. It's very important. A lot of us don't like pillows. I've noticed that.
I'm gonna check it out tomorrow.
Flat surface. I'll do one more because that was a quick one.
I see.
Just discovered my daughter is having absent seizures. If you have any tips, so yeah, I have seizures. And yeah, let me put it on here too. Yes, I'm autistic and I have seizures. I have uncontrollable seizures associated with my autism. Seizure medications do not work for me.
I'm not gonna lie. I want a ring for Christmas. Yeah. No, I want a ring.
What triggers my seizures is I'm oversensitive to sound. I have sound stimulation issues, so like metal music, anything with bass in it, repetitive sounds, sirens, so people talking really loudly,
I'd rather have a ring that I'm never gonna take off the ring.
talking a lot, and more so multiple people talking at the same time. Even if they're talking very low, I hear it all the same volume. And it becomes like I feel dizzy and kind of like I'm being pulled into water. I kind of have that like panic. Because I get pain in my neck going up to my head.
Don't worry about where it's at.
I have a YouTube channel.
I don't have any fake islands either. I want them real. I want them to be authenticated.
I'm laughing at my friend when she said,
They don't have to be big, they gotta be
okay, last
big zirconia.
last question.
They better, then you better.
My daughter is 11 and she woke up and asked for a bath. Realized she has started her period. I didn't know how to explain to her she's mostly nonverbal. She's complaining of stomach. I just give her Tylenol. She cannot bathe every day due to skin conditions. Any ideas on how I can ensure she is as clean as possible? You're gonna learn that she doesn't want to wear pads or tampons. It's too uncomfortable. If you try to force her, she's gonna pull them out. And she's gonna have accidents in front of people. It's gonna cause a lot of trauma and like embarrassment, stuff like that. You're probably gonna want to, it doesn't sound weird, but you're gonna want to allow her to just use toilet paper and put her on a timer so that she can keep going to the restroom and cleaning and washing herself. And embarrassment is going to affect your self-esteem. If you're experiencing this already, allow her to use toilet paper, but train her and put her on a timer to where she can go and clean herself and wash herself, every so often throughout the day. Maybe like every half hour or something like that, just to make sure that she's clean. I know it's a weird question, guys, but it's important.
This is an example of what I want, and this is the price that you can get it at sales.
So instead, I would appreciate your feedback on your current ABA service. What do you like and dislike? ABA confuses the communication. They are not descriptive when they ask us to do things, which makes us hesitate on whether or not we can meet the objective or what exactly that they're talking about. They touch us, even when they say that they changed the practice, they're still doing it, and it's causing a lot of aggression, a lot of frustration, and it also affects the bond between the parent, because the child is watching the parent allow these people to do these things that is making them feel unsafe. They're mainly just training the child to appear normal as quickly as possible, but at the same time, they're trying to take away and untrain them, take away that instinct to use their analytical thinking process. They don't want them to think for themselves, which is very dangerous. They can become a target for a lot of people. If you train a child on the spectrum when they doubt themselves just to cooperate and do this and do that and comply and fit in and blend, that it can be very dangerous as they get older. I mean, you want your child to ease your stress for that moment. I'm pretty sure everybody does, but at the same time, you want them to get older and still do that type of stuff, even in dangerous situations, because that will happen. I do not believe in ABA. I don't believe in ABA at all. The reward aspect of it can work on older children who have already been in a school setting. Do not use that for children, especially under the age of 3. If they're under the age of 3, the regional center, you can have the option, instead of doing ABA, to do infant education. It's better to teach the child Russian. Okay, so that's all the questions that I'm going to answer today. I have to go help my kids and get them ready for bed. But you guys all have a good night. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and like. Good night, everyone. Call me Ozzy. Okay.